Welcome to the Bucher and Friends podcast, co-starring 10-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion, Will Blackmon.
Manning from the end zone. He throws, and a deflect away, and it is picked off by Will Blackmon, the former Giant.
Tim Dwight watches it hit, bounces, picks it up at the 10, slips a defender, fumbles the football. It's up for grabs. It's covered in the end zone by Will Blackmon for a Green Bay touchdown.
And now, here is your host,
Let's send it over to Rick Bucher.
Rick Bucher.
Welcome to another episode of Bucher and Blackmon, subsidiary of Bucher and Friends on the United WeCast Network. I'm Rick Bucher. He's NFL vet and Super Bowl champ Will Blackmon. You can see him most often on NFL Game Day Live Sundays on NFL Network and on Twitter at Will Blackmon. That's also where you can find me at Rick Bucher and on Bleacher Report. You can also follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Bucher Friends. Remember, if you enjoy the show, please drop us a rating and review us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. Screenshot the review and tweet it to us at Bucher Friends, and you will be entered for a chance to win some free prizes from Ryan, Will, and myself. All right, so we have a lot to get to. We only have two games as far as the conference championship is concerned. Rams against the Saints is the early game on Sunday at 12:05 p.m. Pacific. And then we have New England at Kansas City at 3:40 p.m. Pacific. But there's a number of other things that are happening and there's a couple of things that I neglected to get to in the last podcast that I need to run by you. So, first of all, I think I heard that you're coaching, or I saw something that you had accepted a job coaching high school. Is that true?
Yeah, I agreed to help out at San Juan Hills High School. Not just help out, just to be an assistant coach on the staff, specializing in all areas.
Oh, and what's your connection to San Juan Hills?
I know Coach Pete. He's the defensive coach. And so I helped out with him a little bit. It's local. So I knew a couple of kids through the 7-on-7 circuit. And I was like, you know what? I don't mind helping out. So I feel like I need to serve. That's my thing. I want to serve. So
give back.
Give back.
Nice.
Share knowledge that I know.
You're also training a number of NFL prospects. They're college players now, and they're prospects to go on to the NFL. Are you getting them draft ready? Or combine ready?
All the above, draft and combine ready and all-star game ready. Yeah, I usually I'm not a trainer per se. Like I don't go out and have my own business or whatever. But when I was training myself when I played, if there were guys around, people in town, players, I just come work out with me, and then it became a thing where, at the start of last year, agents would call me like, hey, I got a guy, if you could help him out. So I'm like, sure. So I did it last year, and they called me again this year, and then someone else heard that I was working out defensive back. So I'm like, why not?
So you became a guy, but you never had a guy. Now, most guys of your magnitude that reach your level have a guy. So how come?
I have a guy who trains me for performance. I don't have a guy in particular for position specific stuff. So what I do is position specific. I don't Gotcha. Make somebody faster, stronger, or whatever. We just do football stuff. But I have a guy, it's Gavin McMillan. He's at Sports Science Lab in Irvine. So that's who I've been. Pretty much, he saved my career. He changed my whole entire thinking of training and whatever it is. Yeah, he's from having all those knee surgeries. I had 3 to be exact. Changed my whole thought process and pretty much saved my career.
Is there a way to succinctly define what it is that Gavin changed or opened your mind to or your body to that saved your career?
Yeah, he just understands physics and biomechanics and how the body is supposed to work. The biggest thing is he got me off the platform. Like all those power cleans, all those heavy back squats, that's basically, it's fitness. It's not truly performance. Performance is running, jumping, trying to find ways to, simulate or emulate the way you play. And all that does is those heavy lifting, those Olympic lifting. First of all, Olympic lifting is a sport in itself.
Right.
Guys compete. And I'm sure a good majority of those guys don't have great knees after they do that. So the one thing about it, there are ways you can do explosive workouts and lifts without tearing yourself up that are beneficial. But like heavy power cleans, heavy back squat, and all that stuff, a lot of us get away with it because we're really good athletes. But it's extremely dangerous, and it can set you back. And so he got me off that, and just he has this machine that he didn't invent, but he kind of like, I guess, updated it, if you will. It's called an isokinetic machine. It's really cool. It's all on YouTube.
All right.
My rehab videos on YouTube, so check it out.
Oh, check all of that out. All right. You mentioned yesterday in the last podcast that if Carson Wentz, essentially you said that you had more confidence in the Philadelphia Eagles with Nick Foles than you would have had if the Eagles had Carson Wentz. I didn't ask you why you felt that way, and you didn't really elaborate. So please do so now.
Well, it wasn't more so confident. Yeah, because my statement was picking who's going to win between the Eagles and the Saints. I was saying that if Carson Wentz was on the team, then I'd be like, okay, the Saints are a way better team. They're going to win. However, the fact that Nick Foles is the quarterback, Carson Wentz is on the team if he was the quarterback. If Nick Foles, being that he is the quarterback, there's just something about him when he's out there because we've seen it before. We saw what he did last year. And obviously, winning Super Bowl MVP. So it's not even so much about that he's a better quarterback. There was just something about him in that crunch time moment.
If you were running the Eagles and you had to make a decision this offseason, do I keep Nick Foles or do I move Carson Wentz or vice versa? How difficult?
Carson's your quarterback. He is. He's your quarterback from here on out. He's an outstanding quarterback. If he did not get hurt last year, he wins the MVP. Yeah, so no, it's definitely Carson Wentz. Nick Foles, he's definitely probably going to move on. I believe if they keep him, it's going to be about $20 million.
Yeah,
something like
they can't afford that. They can't afford that. If they want to play for Super Bowls, you can't pay your backup quarterback.
You cannot pay your backup quarterback $20 million or tag him, which I think is 25.
Right.
Yeah, you don't do that. So he'll be moving on.
The other thing that I didn't get to, the Rams offensive line said that they knew what the Cowboys defense was going to do before they did it. Now, you watch film, that's the whole point in game planning and looking at film and figuring out what the other team is going to do. But this felt like it was a little deeper than that, in that they felt like there were keys, there were reads. I assume that there were reads based on the way they were lining up or positioning, whatever it might be. First question is, what did you make of that statement? How did you interpret that?
Well, right now if you look at their team, their veteran group is the offensive line. That's the senior group on that team. You have, obviously Andrew Whitworth, 17 years. You got Roger Saffold, who played 9 years in. You got Sullivan, who I play with on the Redskins. He's 11 years in. And then you got two younger guys in Austin Blythe and Havenstein. So that's your veteran group. You got 23 years of experience just alone with three guys. So they seen everything. I'm sure they communicated very, very, very well and just knew exactly what was going to happen.
Did you ever have a game where you went into it? I know you mentioned playing the Falcons and they looked nothing like the Falcons, or you pretty much handed it to them. I don't know if that's an example, but did you ever have an example? Did you ever have a situation that feeling like, I know what they're going to do, or we know what they're going to do, and we've got an answer for it, where you could dominate just because of your preparation?
I feel like, especially towards the last 5 years is really when I honed in and understood everything. I felt like going into pretty much every game, I knew exactly what they were going to do. It was a matter of collectively, were we as a team going to trust that? Or was somebody going to jump outside the gap? Was somebody not going to be in position? It was whatever it is. Because it's funny, there were times where, I remember when I was in Jacksonville, we were a new team. We had a lot of new players. We were trying to build my first year there. But I think it was like Thursday or Friday, we would have a meeting, go over, the rest of the game plan. And then the coach would ask me, Will, I know you do extra studying. Do you have any tips or anything you pick up that you can share with the room? So I'll give it's called indicators. I'll have a couple of indicators to let guys know, hey, if these come out, this could happen. So yeah, it's interesting because it has to be a collective thing. like I said, I always felt like I knew what guys were going to do, and sometimes it was just a matter of everybody as one trusting it.
Yeah. It's funny. It feels to me similar to poker. And it's been more with linemen that I've talked to about this. And they'll just talk about positioning, guy will twitch. Like there's just body language at the line will give them a tip in terms of where the play might be going. Because guys kind of instinctively shift themselves, or they do things, right?
Right.
That you can pick up. But when you're out in space, when you're a DB lining up against a wide receiver, are you doing the same thing? Are you looking for cues in his posture, or the way he has his feet set, which way he's leaning, like all of that?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely just watch tape and just look at that person, everything that they do. And the cool thing is, not only, you may pick up on all these tips, these little whatever things that they do, but if you just continually watch your guy over and over, just watch the games, then it's crazy that when you actually play against him, it's like, dude, everything that he's doing body language wise, I've seen it. Like, it's all familiar. If you really, for real, study and just watch that person, because everyone's a creature of habit.
Sure.
Players are going to do the same thing. Coordinators are going to do the same thing. I just had a conversation with somebody about offensive coordinators, is that, they're gonna call some plays. They're gonna have a couple of interesting wrinkles they're gonna throw at you, but at the end of the day, they're gonna get back to what they know and what they do.
You have
to know that.
Yeah. Does the reverse apply? Do offensive players read defensive players? I mean, outside of the quarterback, or is there a way to detect wide receiver versus DB, since you played wide receiver in college? I mean, does it work both ways?
I think receiver wise, you read coverages, because more so it's about getting to a spot, understanding what's happening, because certain routes might turn to something else based on the coverage. Or if I know they're in man and I get a press corner, then that's kind of where, okay, I can give him this move. But, I mean, there were some times, though, in college when I was in the zone, I didn't really give a damn what the dude did. I didn't care who it was. There was a couple – I was in the ACC, so a lot of the corners, everybody ran a 4-3. I didn't want to – I was a 4-4 guy. I got clocked 4-3 once, but I was consistently a 4-4 guy. And it didn't even matter who was in front of me. Sometimes I didn't even watch the guy because I didn't care.
Because you were just going to go to your spot?
No, I just think I was going to run my route, and he just had to cover it.
Right. Well, that's what I mean.
I was that confident that I didn't need any tips. I didn't need to look for like a special advantage. Right. Sometimes if you do that, you can kind of psych yourself out and overstudy. Mm-hmm. You look at a couple of things. Okay, they do this. Me, in the NFL, when I chart it, I would have, a bunch of already printed out like formations, and I'll just chart guys like, okay, where they line up, what kind of route do they run when they line up here? What kind of route and if I see, okay, if he's on the right hash or the right side of the field, -2 from the numbers, he ran this route like 10 times. That's a lot.
Sure.
So that's something that I'll make a mental note of, but for the most of the part, I'll just play honest football throughout the game.
So this is what I know NBA players will do, is that they will set up a guy for the fourth quarter. They will make a certain move and they'll go to a certain place, or they'll make a move and they realize, okay, I can get a step on him with this move. Right. They won't use it. They might use it once, but they won't use it again. Or they might even just know they got that step and then pull it up and hit it, but know that it's there and bank it so that if we get to the fourth quarter and I need a bucket, I know I can go to that.
Right.
Is the same sort of cat and mouse, the same sort of collective, whether it's setting a guy up and doing a certain thing all game long, and then fourth quarter comes and you need something extra. Now you're going to change it up on him, and he's going to be reading it. Well, he's done this all game. I'm expecting the same. Is there that, or is there what's the level of cat and mouse when it comes to things like that?
Well, yeah, from an offensive perspective, if a guy's playing off, a cornerback's playing off, and he's giving you the short stuff, then yeah, I'll take it. I'll take a 3-yard out. I'll take a hitch. I'll take a slant. We'll take that. And then, maybe fourth quarter, when it's crunch time, hit him with a double move, lull him to sleep. That happens all the time. Yeah. There's a route that Odell runs pretty good. He'll run a dig, but he runs a route we call it the house route. Pretty much it's a dig, and then up, because if he runs a dig and up, he's going to the house pretty much. So my DB coach, Dwayne Walker, he was in Cleveland last with Greg Williams. He called it a house route, and it was pretty funny. Yeah, and same thing on defense, especially when it comes to 2 minute. I had a defensive back coach, Aubrey Pleasant. He's now the defensive back coach for the Rams. He would come down. I mentioned before, he had a really, really detailed 2 minute breakdown on what teams did. So 2 minute, that's like the crunch time for us. Every team has a 2 minute plays that they run. So you'll study that and you'll know, okay, I can probably get something here.
All right, I'm going to go on to the conference championship games, and there was one thing that I mentioned that I teased about Sean Payton taking the, it was $225,000, basically the bonus money that a player gets if he goes all the way to the Super Bowl, and the Lombardi Trophy, and said, if you want this, pointing to the stack of money and the trophy, then go out and win 3 effing games. And I will say, everybody got all hot and bothered. Oh, that's coaching. Boy, that's motivation, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't like it. I didn't like it for this reason. I don't want to worry about 3 freaking games. I need to worry about the Philadelphia Eagles. And when they started the way they did, and when I was like, see, you're already playing. You're thinking 3 games. No, you don't have 3 games, because you don't get to play the next 2 games without winning the first one. I don't like this big picture. If at the beginning of the year you want to set your goals and say,
but why don't you like the big picture thing?
Because
what's wrong with that?
Because now you're not all in on Philadelphia.
But how do you know that though?
Well, I don't know that. Well, but I've opened up the possibility that a guy's thinking about the bonus that he gets and the trophy that he gets for winning 3 games. Screw that. I don't need to win 3 games. I can't win 3 games. I can only win 1. So let's not anticipate the money that I'm going to get and the trophy that I'm going to get by winning the Super Bowl when I haven't even taken the first step yet. I don't like that as a motivational tool. It's too big picture.
I guess it's about, once again, knowing your audience, knowing your personnel, knowing your guys.
Yeah.
Maybe materialistic things motivates that team. Sean would know better than anybody. Maybe that's just what it is.
Okay, but you're trying to define the motivation of 50 plus guys. I don't think all of them are motivated by the same things.
Well, that's welcome to being a coach, because you can go up there with the greatest speech and it might only resonate with 10 people. There are a lot of times where a coach will go up there and speak and he'll give his rah whatever it is.
Right.
Everyone reacts different to it. I remember before we played the Giants. This actually was a really I'll remember this game for a while, because D'Angelo Hall, he actually got up in front of the team the night before we played the Giants in New York, 2016. And he was just like, man, we need to figure this thing out. You never know. He said, you never know, what might happen. Whatever your motivation is, if it's family, if it's fame, if it's money, if it's girls, whatever your motivation is, use it. Like, who cares? Mm-hmm. Like, use that motivation. He said, you never know, because, it could be your last. It could be my last. And it was as crazy as that was the game he actually went and tore his ACL after you saying, like, this could be my last game. Yeah. You never know. But it's whatever your motivation is. It doesn't matter. If that's what it is, and that's what it is. Yeah, they probably went in there. I'm sure Philly saw that. They knew about that, too. So they were like, man, they're not going to just roll over us.
That's the other part. I don't need ammo for the opposition. I don't need to add fire to their.
But let them feel it. Who cares? Perfect example.
Why?
Listen,
what's the benefit?
But what are you worried about? Nothing. You're scared like you're gonna piss them off and that they're gonna play harder. Like, who cares? Another great example is.
I'm not scared. I'm being.
But that's what it is. They already beat them down, by damn near 40 points earlier in the year, and so they're like, whatever, dude. I know it's the playoffs, but they were not worried about the Eagles, point blank. Let's just put it that. I remember a great example. We were playing the 2002.
They were worried about the Eagles after they went down 14-0.
Listen, they were like, okay, they came to play. They came to play. Whatever. We played Miami.
You're probably right.
We played the Miami Hurricanes when I was at Boston College in 2002. And John Vilma, they asked him about us. He was like, He's like, we're going to beat them by 30 and then move on. He said this during the week. It was like a Wednesday presser. He said, we're going to beat them by 30. So coach, bulletin board,
right?
Coach Tom O'Brien put it on the wall. And so we saw the article, beat us by 30, this, that, and the third. So what's cool, we got to the game at halftime. It was 6-6. Holy SHIT. Yeah. We lost 36-6. We got beat by 30. Oh, I know. They were like, "Oh man, BC can't do." Like, okay, let's get it going. Well, let's get this going. Yeah, man.
I get that.
Everybody's different though, because I feel there are a lot of guys who will look at that and be like, "Oh man, I need my $225,000," and they forget the essence, the importance of the game.
Right.
But that team is already so prepared. Where like I said, Sean Payton knows he can say that to that team. Yeah. Now, if your team was a 9-7 team, that had some major adversity, was struggling, and you had to find a way to pick everybody else back up. No, they have fun all the time. They enjoy each other. They have incredible leaders across the board.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So,
did you hear Drew Brees' pre-game speech to the team?
Nope.
The one right on the... Well, for your benefit, we'll play it now.
Hey, listen to me now. There's 3 stages to this game. You play, you compete, and lethal. When you're a kid, you play. You play because you love this game. You love the game of football. Then you start learning fundamentals. You start learning technique. You start learning how to compete and how to win. Now the third stage, not everybody gets to the third stage. Not everybody gets to be lethal. But when you get a group of guys, a team like this, that loves one another, that plays for one another, that's lethal. Yeah. When you go into every game and know that you got a chance to win, no matter what the circumstances, you will find a way to win. Yeah. That's lethal. Yeah. So all season long we played, we competed, and tonight we are lethal. Yeah.
That's legit.
I was just gonna say, I wasn't sure where he was going with the.
I never had a quarterback speak to us like that.
Really?
Never.
Well, who did you have? You had Kirk Cousins and you had
Favre, Rodgers, and Eli.
Oh, that's true. Well, Eli's not going to talk like that.
No, but I'm saying I had
Favre.
I have Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was
legit.
I wasn't sure where he was going with the 3 levels, and then the third one was lethal, and I was going, okay, how you getting there? Like I really wanted to, as a wordsmith, I wanted to know how you putting this together, but he made it work. It was impressive.
That was, dude.
Yeah,
that got me ready to rock.
I was just gonna say, I wondered whether that got the blood pumping again.
Lethal, bro,
and prescient, right? Because they were kind of in a tough spot. It was like, we're going to figure out how to win this thing.
You know what lethal is?
Deadly.
Beyond sufficient to cause death. Okay? Lethal.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You like that.
I'm saying, though, that you think they were worried about Philly? Come on, man. They're trying to get that ring and that money.
Okay. Oh, come on. All right. Well, they still got another big step. And speaking of which, I want to get to that now. So we got the Rams coming to the Saints. Am I wrong in thinking that the Rams actually might be an easier matchup for the Saints than the Eagles were?
You're not wrong for thinking that.
A big part of it is the quarterback.
The Saints are the number 1 run defense in the NFL. So that is a huge deal. I believe they match up receiver to DB wise. It'll be interesting to see how that O-line will do versus that D-line. And then on the flip side, yeah, it's going to be a good game. I think, once again, it's going to come down to that secondary. Akeem, Peters, Johnson, Joyner.
Who was it? I think you saw the clip. The clip of the DB. Was it Marcus Peters?
Marcus Peters, yeah.
Marcus Peters. He looks psychotic. You know what the guys who scare me?
When they smile,
They smile, and then they get serious again. And then they smile, and they get serious again. There is nothing that scares me more than a dude who does that. Because I'm right now. I'm having a conversation with a dude with a split personality, and I don't know which is going to take over.
Yeah, he said, "Yeah," like he was talking, and he smiled.
Yeah,
he was like, "You feel me?"
Exactly. Sean Payton, in terms of being a trash talker from the sideline, were there other head coaches during your time that? I mean, did you ever experience that with Sean?
No, I never really got any beef with coaches, but I seen a lot of coaches talk smack. I seen Rex Ryan talk smack to players. It's funny though, because it's these coaches they know all these players. They studied all these guys. So if players will come over and talk trash, and coaches will be like, "Dude, I studied you. You're nothing. You were nobody. We don't know who you are. Like, get out of here."
Wow.
No, coaches for the most part, coaches respect me because I showed respect. So I usually go to the coach pregame and say what's up. I'll introduce myself to the other coach.
Will Blackmon, always working. Always
working.
Always networking.
Hey man, listen, I'm just trying to be the man of the people.
Clearly, and you are. All right.
Oh yeah, you never told me why you think it'll be an easier matchup. You can't just throw it out there and expect me to answer it for you.
I was impressed that Jared Goff, and maybe, the last play I thought was big. When they rolled him out, he saw the space, he took it up, he ran for it. I thought that was a nice growth moment for him. His eyes got big, but I'm not convinced that in the dome, with that atmosphere, with that kind of pressure, I'm not convinced that Goff is ready for that. It's as simple as that. So it's almost like, as you said.
Despite what happened last game?
Yes. Because I think that the Saints, first of all, he was playing at home.
Versus the Saints the first time.
Who I don't know. There's somebody I know who said the playoffs are different. They're really different.
They are different.
Oh, that was you who just said that. So why are you asking me to take a regular season game and think that that's going to apply to the circumstances here?
Because they've been there. And the Saints ruined their undefeated streak. Goff threw for almost 400 yards.
This is a different thing.
It is a different thing. But Michael Thomas did go for 200. That's what.
And did they not have Cooper Kupp at that time?
When did he get hurt? They did have him this game. They did.
A wise man once said that's like having another quarterback on the field for the Rams.
It is.
Right.
And he's not there.
Right.
They still lost.
You want another reason? Do I need to give you any more? You agreed with me. Why did you agree with me?
You're sitting here, you're giving these air quotes. You're not giving these real reasons.
What?
You're saying it's different the second time in the playoffs and they don't have Cooper Kupp. That's why you think it'll be an easier matchup.
I think that they're capable of limiting the damage by Todd Gurley. I think they can focus and go all in on that and say, all right, Jared Goff, if you're up to beating us without Cooper Kupp, have at it. And I don't think in the dome with the noise, and I just think I think that Rams line, I don't think Ndamukong Suh is going to have the same performance he had last week. That was a throwback performance for him. I just think you put Brees, you put him in the dome, you put the silent counts that Jared Goff is going to have to rely on. I think it's just going to be too much under those circumstances.
You know why the Saints are going to win? Because that $225,000 pot sitting in front of them.
Okay. All right.
That's
it's going back to the motivational tool that I pissed all over is the thing that you think is the reason they're going to beat the Rams.
It's going down.
You're doing that you're doing that for the same reason that you don't answer my text messages. You just want to mentally mess with me.
That's going down.
Is. All right, let's just move on. New England at Kansas City. Patriots reminded us that they are not dead. This is a different animal. Patrick Mahomes is a different animal. I feel as if this...
So is Bill Belichick.
Okay. So if you were Bill Belichick, if you were the Patriots, how do you exploit the Kansas City Chiefs? What's the weakness that you try to take advantage of?
They're going to do what they did once again. Just the matchups. They're going to figure it out. I don't know what Bill's going to do. Okay? Nobody knows what Bill's going to do.
I feel as if they're going to have a much harder time containing this Kansas City offense. A much harder time because of the speed factor. To me, that's one of the weaknesses that the Patriots have.
Because of the speed, they're not going to be able to...
Defensively, I don't think they're... Whether it's with Mahomes or whether with Hill, I think that's a difficult matchup for them.
No, they're going to...
I think Kelsey is a difficult matchup for them.
If they get anything, it might be because of like a busted coverage. It's going to have to be a miraculous play by Tyreek Hill. One thing... Listen.
What Patrick Mahomes does is he screws everything up. Like, you can't play conventional.
And there's going to be somebody on him. Listen, they're going to eliminate Damian Williams. Take him out of the game. You're not running the ball. Okay? Take him out the game. They're going to double up on Kelsey.
Okay.
Limit what he does.
I'm getting one-on-one coverage with Tyreek Hill?
They're going to make Tyreek Hill be a number one receiver. He runs good routes. He's fast, but he doesn't have the greatest hands. And it's supposed to be freezing cold. 12 degrees, I heard. Someone told me. Yeah. It's different.
So you have the Patriots winning.
Patriots going right back to the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Right back. In everybody's face. I got a bunch of my media friends in New England got their hotels for Atlanta already.
Wow.
All right.
I can't argue where I could see Brady, Sony Michel, basically that power offense doing some damage against Kansas City. I could see that. I feel like this could be a shootout, and I think it's going to be tougher to beat the Chiefs in a shootout.
I don't see it being like that.
You think it's going to be closer to the vest?
Yeah, no one's going to score more than 27.
Yeah, 27-24. That's 27-21. That's right in the. It's not a track meet, but that's a healthy number.
It's a healthy number, right? It might even be 27-24
with New England winning.
But what they're going to do is they're going to put James White one-on-one with them backers. They're going to put Sony Michel one-on-one with them backers. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Can your linebackers cover?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I can see them certainly taking advantage of that. So do you think Belichick plays the card again where if they win the toss, we'll take it first? Do you think he does that again, or is that a one trick?
I don't know what he's going to do once again. You keep I may know a lot of football, but I do not know Bill Belichick. Nobody does, apparently.
And you're not willing to venture a guess as to what you think he's going to do.
He's going to put those running backs on linebackers in space, and they're going to get 6 yards a pop, 5 yards a pop. Put Julian Edelman in the slot. They might do some bunch formations. Do a lot of if they play man, they're going to have to be ready.
All right, I'm going to ask you to wrap up the show. I'm going to ask you a question that I feel you will answer. How good is San Juan Hills? Or how good are they going to be?
You know what? We have a really good player. You didn't watch football till what, like last year? How long have you been a football fan?
I can't believe you said that with a straight face.
Now we have a good player. One of our guys, his name is Joey Hobart. He is the son.
Wait a minute. Where did that come from?
Listen, he's the son of Billy Joe Hobart. He was the quarterback on the 1991 national championship team for UW.
Okay.
University of Washington.
Okay.
He's really good. We have a bunch of size. We just, guys are getting stronger. Guys love football. The biggest thing I'm watching film on them right now, all their games, and the one cool thing about them is that every single game they competed. They won their league last year, the CVU League. So we'll see. It's a public school, so we have all of our own kids. We're not you're not out there recruiting.
Who's your big rival?
Nobody.
So you don't know who the rival of San Juan Hills is?
We don't have a rival. There's no rival.
Come on. Everybody has a rival.
We're not worried about anybody.
That's different.
There's no such thing. Even when I played, I never really got into the rivalries.
What kind of day did you have today? Because you've been really difficult.
Listen, even when I was in Green Bay, it was like, oh, the Bears, we hate the Bears. I'm like, man, y'all hate the Bears. I don't worry about them Bears, man.
All right.
Oh, Trabuco Hills. That might be one of them. I don't know, man.
All right. You gave me something.
I'm not worried. Yeah, there you go. I'll give you them. Trabuco. El Toro. Maybe El Toro is one of them because our head coach came from El Toro.
Is there anybody in particular that you're working with that you think is a big-time prospect that you care to disclose?
Nope.
Okay. Just thought I'd check.
I'm not giving up any details, okay?
Clearly not. Okay. That's it. That's it for... And this is the Bucher and Blackmon podcast.
Just gonna end it right there?
Well, I was looking for something positive to end the podcast with, and you're just like you're giving me nothing. You're playing psychological games over there. You're insulting
games.
You're insulting my interest.
Do you know who Billy Joe Hobart is?
I know the name. I don't know who he is. He went to UW.
Not the singer Billy Joel. I'm talking about.
He knew that. You got anything else for me? I'm happy to end.
What do you think about Pulisic going to Chelsea? The American player Pulisic going to Do you watch the Premier League?
Yeah, not religiously.
Wow, I can't talk to you about anything. You don't watch anything. Gosh. But girls basketball, high school girls basketball.
Wait until you probably know this a little bit with your son. You wait till both of your kids are playing games. Like I got to pick my spots in terms of what I watch beyond them, beyond the NBA, beyond the major NFL games.
Are you the head coach for your daughter's basketball team?
No, I coached both of them until they got to high school, and then I handed over the reins.
Basketball?
Yes, of course. That's what they play.
Just curious.
I coached them in soccer when they were very young. Actually, I don't think I ever coached my daughter's team.
Clearly, I see why they stopped playing soccer because you played soccer. They were like, okay, dad is pretty crazy right now about soccer.
No, that wasn't.
So I try to back off my son when I coach him about football.
That was not it. I left the door open. I said they can play whatever they want to play.
That's a good dad right there.
Whenever they want to play it.
That's what I did for our son. He's like, you know what, Dad? I don't want to swim right now. I want to wrestle. Cool, no problem. Don't swim or wrestle.
My only thing was, if you commit to a team, you finish the season. I think my son played flag football.
If you're on a team, right, I agree with that. If you're on a team that's an organized team that has a season, yes, you finish the season.
Yeah.
Swim is kind of like there's a bunch of meets. It's kind of individual. So as a team, you get points, but individually, it's like, Yeah,
we're right on that. We're right on the verge with my daughter. She's trying out for an Adidas AAU team where you start to be seen.
She wants to be seen
and stuff like that.
You don't like the circuit?
If you're good, if you can play, people will find you. They will see you.
That's not true.
That is true.
That's not true.
That's true.
There's so many misses. That is not true.
There are misses of kids who are seen, or the kids that are recruited heavily.
At least they're seen and at least they're seen and they're missed. They're seen and they're passed up.
Sure, and there's kids that are recruited in 8th grade, and by 10th grade, they've fallen off the map. Coaches know, like everybody hears about like 8th graders and 9th graders being recruited, right?
You're talking to a guy who went out to be seen. Tell your daughter, I went out to be seen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It worked out for me. It took me all the way here on a podcast with Rick Bucher.
No. I'm not saying that don't put yourself in position to give yourself an opportunity. I'm not saying that. Then I misspoke. This is my point. Everybody thinks they have to be on the team.
Right.
Or this tournament. Like I got to No. Go out, play in the tournaments. If you can play, they'll recognize that you can play. That you have to be on a certain team, go in certain places, has a certain budget, all that stuff. I'm like, you're overthinking this. If you can play, get to a tournament, show that you have capability of the physical capability, the mental capability of playing at the next level, and you're going to give yourself a chance.
But what if this tournament or this league happens to have like really good competition, and you're like, okay, let me go in there because I can play. Let me go in there.
Yeah, well, but that's as much about developing your game too and proving what you're capable of as anything else. And it's not really league-wise; it's more tournament-wise.
Right. I only say this because first of all, I'm from Rhode Island.
Right.
So no matter how good I was, nobody came to Rhode Island.
Right.
At all. So I actually went to, a bunch of camps and threw myself in the Lions Den.
Gotcha.
And it worked out. Got my first scholarship at 14.
First scholarship offer?
Yeah.
To where?
Boston College.
Oh, how about that?
How about that? I know.
I got my first offer when I was a freshman.
No, I was a young freshman. I was freshman going to my sophomore year.
I was 2 years behind you. You know what? This is what I love. The competition never ends.
There is no competition here.
That's probably true, too.
There is not. You're the one that's super competitive beyond. Before the podcast, I was like, how old are you? He said 57. I said, you look good. He said, I know.
Well, I told you, I'm not insecure. I'm sensitive.
He said, I know. But that's cool, though. That's all good because speaking of, I said, you must be drinking the same water as Pete Carroll because he looks really young, too.
Right.
But with Pete, going back to the whole thing with Sean Payton and motivation.
Yeah.
I remember when I was there in 2013, everyone was saying, like, oh, this Seattle team, they're going to be good. They're going to be great. They're going to take it all the way. They're dangerous. Russell Wilson, everything. And he went down the whole list. He said, you know what, guys? Most coaches would be like, man, don't read that stuff. Don't read the clippings. He said, embrace it, guys, because you are that good. Embrace it and play like it. That's
good stuff.
And they won the Super Bowl that year. How about that?
And that is staying focused on the task at hand.
Yeah.
It's not putting 230.
You believe you look good, so that's why you go on your spin bike 4 times a day and get facials and Botox or whatever else you guys do.
All right. That's enough.
I'm sorry. I've been in California for 10 years. I've seen everything. I'm not saying you do that. I'm just saying I've seen it all.
Right. No, trust me. I've lived in Northern California, but still been in California long enough to know that, people are very vain.
It's all good.
On this side of the country.
It's competitive out here.
All right. That's enough. John, good luck editing this one. That's it for today's episode of Bucher and Blackmon. Don't forget to follow Will on Twitter at Will Blackmon and me at Rick Bucher. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Bucher Friends. Drop us a rating and review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Screenshot the review and tweet it to us at Bucher Friends, and you'll be entered for a chance to win some prizes, maybe some facial cream or a cosmetic surgery. Who knows? Who will be sponsoring the show in the future based on the conversation. In the meantime, Will, I will talk to you again after Championship Sunday, and we have our Super Bowl matchup. Can't wait to break that down with you. In the next podcast, I will be joined by one Chris Kaman, the caveman, former Clipper, former Trailblazer, now out in the wilds hunting things in Michigan, his native Michigan. We're going to catch up with him. One of the reasons I wanted to is because I was just with the Blazers, and we'll talk about this at some point, Will. I was talking to one of the players, and I said, man, your locker room is bright. The light is bright in here. And it was Myers Leonard, and he said, yeah, that was Chris Kaman. Chris Kaman said, if we come from the lights on the court and you come into the locker room and it's dimmer, your energy is going to drop, and it's a psychological, mental hurdle that you create for yourself. So they did the lighting in the Blazers locker room specifically because of my next guest. I know he's done a lot of brain development, brain training methodology. So we'll get into all that, see if he's still following all of that. In the meantime, thanks for listening.